a more secure plan, way more focused, way more detailed, way more for the people.
That's the only thing I would really care about, would like to see done free healthcare for Americans.
How many reports have been saying that, hey, look, people are just being given a pass just to come in, bypassing the general regulations, green card and so forth.
Knows how to speak clearly, knows how to, make conversation.
Grocery prices, gas prices, just the everyday living is hard.
I don't really think there is a comparison in differential between the two presidents.
A lot of election workers are afraid right now, given the way that their job is talked about and our elections are talked about.
To be honest with you, I wish we could go back to when the United States manufactured their own goods.
What policies did she do the last 4 years that you were a big fan of? Hey guys, my name is Alessi. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, this is a documentary lifestyle channel with a focus on telling the stories of real people, an alternative to the mainstream media. In today's video, I went back to the largest swing state county of Pennsylvania to discuss with the people again who they're going to be voting for. I felt like I left a lot on the bone in my last video because I felt like there were still more people to speak to and more areas to see who people are voting for. And I did get a more variety in this video than the previous one. If you haven't already, go check out the other videos and also make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the video. Who are you voting for?
Kamala Harris.
Why?
Honestly, I feel like she has a better plan than Trump, like a more secure plan. Like she's way more focused, way more detailed, way more for the people. It's way more not complete, maniacal. That's pretty much it.
What part of the plan of Harris's do you like?
I like how she's going to be cutting or supposedly cutting back on a lot of the tech stuff to make everything a lot more livable for the common person that's not in the bigger tax brackets, the more affordable things, eggs and stuff can actually be affordable nowadays.
And when you hear this stuff, where are you getting your information?
Mainly doing a lot of research. I listen to a lot of radio outlets like the Breakfast Club, stuff like that.
Breakfast Club, what else?
So far, I try to look around different news outlets like CNN every now and then. Mostly CNN though, yeah.
What would be your number one concern for the next president that you're concerned about?
Number one concern is everything going up even more.
The prices?
Yeah.
How would you say the last 4 years of Biden are compared to the 4 years of Trump?
Definitely Biden, you can see where he lied at for sure. Everything that he promised, you can see how it's falling apart and how he didn't really have a plan of what he was going to do once he got in there. He was way too old to formulate what he was going to do properly. So it was luckily Kamala stepped up for him, because if he didn't drop out, I don't even know if I would have voted.
And ever since he's dropped out and Kamala's taken over, what policies did she do the last 4 years that you were a big fan of?
Let me see, your biggest policy.
All right, and then in terms of that then, it's all good. In terms of the next 4 years, so you say your number one concern is the inflation right now?
Yeah, pretty much bringing inflation back down, hopefully.
And you believe the candidate to do that is going to be Harris?
I feel more likely than Trump, yeah.
Yeah, and then what about those 4 years of Trump? 2016 and 2020, how were those years for you?
Not too bad, but definitely I feel we could have done a lot better. Just I don't like the type of person that he is. That's mainly why I can't vote for him. His character just doesn't align with my values. So yeah.
So the personality is the kind of the tipping point for you.
Yeah. Along with, I don't feel he can he doesn't seem level-headed enough to run this state. He doesn't seem like a level-headed guy.
So would it be fair to say then the 2016, 2020, he wasn't level-headed enough? Those 4 years, you don't think were well done? Or what do you think?
I wouldn't say completely not well done. Because he definitely did do a lot that I feel stabilized the economy to keep it from going down too much, especially during the pandemic. But yeah, like his personality, his characteristics overall, like everything with that, like I can't sign on with him.
But outside of the personality, if you just looked at what he accomplished, would you be like, I'm voting for Trump if he had a different personality? You put a different person in there.
I wouldn't say fully. I would maybe reconsider a little more, but not fully, no.
Who are you voting?
Me.
Who are you voting for?
I don't know. Never voted before.
Are you thinking of voting this election?
Honestly, no, I'm not really thinking about it.
Why not?
Why not? Because I don't really feel like it really affects me that much to make a difference.
Really? And then in terms of the two candidates, if you had a gun to your head, who would you vote for?
Probably Kamala. If it was gun to my head, choice like that, probably her.
Why?
Why? Time to get a woman in charge for once. We already had Trump. Get someone new in there.
What'd you think of those 4 years of Trump versus the 4 years of Biden?
They both sucked, honestly, equally. I didn't see one was better than the other. To me, at least.
And what'd you think of the 4 years of Biden?
It kind of sucked. I mean, it didn't affect me no differently than Trump did. So, and I don't pay too much enough to politics to like realize a difference in it.
What would be your number one policy concern?
Policy concern? Free healthcare. That's what I would give out. That's the only thing I would really care about. Would like to see done, free healthcare for Americans.
And when you get any sort of information, I know you don't get into politics a lot, but you get some information. Where are you going for that?
What, information?
Yeah.
Probably just see it on Facebook or Instagram, unreliable sources, honestly. So, I mean, it's on the internet. You got to take everything on the internet with a grain of salt. So, but that's my main information gathering points would be social media.
But it's fair enough to say this election coming up, you're not planning to vote at all?
No, probably not, honestly.
Who are you voting for?
Trump.
Why Trump?
The policies that he's already implemented from he's president before, things that got accomplished, things he actually got done. And also he knows America like a business. So he got the acumen for it, in my opinion.
How do you compare the last 4 years of Biden to the last 4 years of Trump?
Democratic policies, I'm not a Democratic supporter. The policies are not sound. They're not sound, man. Also, unrealized expectations.
What's your number one policy concern?
Border. The border issue.
What about the border?
Well, basically, like, how many reports have been saying that, hey, look, people are just being given a pass just to come in, bypassing the general regulations, green card and so forth. And then you get reports about people who are already citizens here who are just bypassed for the same thing, the results that those don't have a green card get. It's like a flip-flop. That's what I mostly hear generated, yeah.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
Trump.
In 2016?
I didn't vote.
So in 2020 you voted for Trump, and then you're voting again this year for Trump. What do you sense from the pulse of the city, what most people are doing? Do you hear more people going for Trump? Do you hear more people going for Harris? What do you sense?
Well, from being a regular traveler, I would say Trump has more of the popularity here, more progressive. Yeah. Kamala Harris don't have the background. She don't have anything substantial, in my opinion, that makes her a valuable candidate or pliable. I don't see it.
And where do you get your news from?
Alternative sources more than the media.
Like what?
RT.
RT?
RT.
RT, what's that?
It's alternative news source. It's just known by RT though.
Yeah, but like who? What?
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, I'm not named. I'm talking about far as who the reporter is and so forth. I don't even have to recall.
But just not mainstream, you're saying?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's just one source, but that's where I mainly go to. Yeah.
Who would you vote for this next election?
Okay. In the next election, I'm going to vote for the type of person that's going to help me get back on my feet, help me to understand the political system here in Philadelphia.
Between Harris and Trump, who speaks to you more?
Between Harris and Trump, I would say Harris. Harris.
Why?
Because well, she knows how to speak clearly. She knows how to, make conversation. She knows how to be a person.
What about her policies? Which policy of hers do you like the most?
I'm not really that familiar with all the policies. I haven't been in the state that long.
Where are you from originally?
Originally from Colorado.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you still could vote there.
Yeah.
Who have you voted for in the past? Have you voted Democrat, Republican?
I voted, I'm voting in the Green Party. The Green Party.
The Green Party.
Because I've been moving so much, yeah.
And then for this election, though, you're planning on voting for Harris.
Yes.
And then in terms of the last 4 years of Biden compared to the 4 years of Trump, what stands out to you?
It's been very, I don't know, it's been too slow. It's been too slow. It's been too slow.
Who are you voting for?
Kamala Harris, Tim Walz.
And why?
I registered Democrat ever since I could vote 20 years ago.
What's your number one concern?
That Trump would be back in office.
How would you compare the last 4 years of Biden to the 4 years of Trump?
I don't really think there is a comparison in differential between the two presidents.
So it was, how would you put that then? Elaborate on that. Like, was it the same?
You
Was
have
it
one
worse?
guy trying to run the country, and then you have another guy trying to milk and fleece the country for his own benefit.
So how would you describe Biden's 4 years?
Not the greatest, but there's definitely been worse, including the guy that was before him and the guy that's running again.
And the 4 years of Trump, what stood out to you?
Almost everything he did, and the fact that it's almost like a magic show where it's like we've got one thing going on here, and then I slip in a whole bunch of other things on the side that you find out later.
But your number
Not very trustworthy.
But your number one concern would be you just do not want Trump in office.
Yeah, flat out.
Trump or Harris?
Neither.
Why?
I feel like neither of them in my best interest, if we being honest. Kamala Harris, she's focusing on what's happening outside of America rather what's happening in America. And Trump himself is just, I can't. Like I said, I'm not even legally allowed to vote, so my vote don't matter anyway. The way I see it, this whole presidential thing is a whole sham, as you ask me, because there should be no way. We got thousands, millions of homeless, but we're sending money to Iran and Israel and stuff like that. It can't be possible. It can't be possible. And I pay taxes, so it's like, where's my money going? It's like I'm working my off just so we can go send our money to a different country who it ain't benefiting us, when we can spend this money in our own country and make it better. But we so focused on the politics and what's going on outside the world and try to help the next dictator, but we're not focusing on home first.
What would be your number one policy concern?
Inflation. Just how stuff can skyrocket. You can look back to 2016, or you can look back to even 2019 before COVID hit, and now grocery prices, gas prices, just the everyday living is hard.
So how would you compare the 4 years of Biden to the 4 years of Trump?
It ain't no difference. With Trump, he gave money out. You know, when you give money out, everybody else's problems go away.
But wait, you just said that things were cheaper 2016, 2019.
2019. COVID didn't hit until late 2019.
2020.
That's even better. After we got the pandemic, after the PUA, the PPP, everything else, that's when stuff skyrocketed. That's when inflation really started. You can go to Walmart with $100 and feed yourself for a week. You'd be lucky if you go to Walmart and feed yourself with $100 for the night.
So you're saying, though, under Biden compared to Trump, it was the same?
Yes. Well, for me it is, because I'm still here. I still get racially profiled. I still got to worry about what's going to happen to me or the law enforcement when I walk out the door. Nothing change. It don't change.
How do you get racially profiled?
What you mean, how?
Give me some examples.
Just where I live at. I'm not going to expose where I live at, but just where I live at, a young black man in the regular neighborhood. The cops see me all the time, and just because my skin complexion or my hairstyle, they think I don't belong there.
Do they say that to you, or what do they do?
Yes.
They come up to you and tell you that you don't belong there?
No. It's more so, what are you doing here? You don't necessarily got to ask me. You don't necessarily got to tell me I don't belong here. It's how you say it. What are you doing here? What is your purpose here? Not, hi, how you doing? Where's your day going? Nothing. It's just straight. Where do you belong, or do you belong here? That's that's exactly what I get asked. Do you belong here? And
is it the same cops or different?
No,
cops?
different. different. And I feel as though no matter who you vote for, no matter what they say they're gonna change, what really has changed that a president said was gonna change? What actually happened that they said was gonna happen? Obama gave us Obamacare. After that, Trump try and raise it. Trump trying to take, as he say, the black jobs. So what really is going on?
Who are you voting for?
Kamala Harris.
Why?
That's a bigger question than I was expecting. I would not want Trump to get another term. I'm generally supportive of the Democratic platform across like most major issues. I'd say that's like pretty much the main reasons.
How would you compare the last 4 years of Biden to the last 4 years of Trump? What stands out to you?
I would say just generally like the public discourse. Like I feel like Trump's been back in the media a lot consistently recently. Like obviously he's campaigning, but I think there was kind of, I don't know, less distress in general given the headlines or the lack thereof under Biden as opposed to Trump. I guess I'd probably need a more specific question to talk about anything more in depth.
Okay. And then in terms of your number one policy concern, what is that?
My number one policy concern is just like free, fair, transparent elections. I have concerns regarding the rhetoric around elections in 2016, primarily prior to and following the 2020 election, let alone even January 6th. Just the discussion of the way ballots are counted, mail-in ballots, all of that sort of stuff. You know, who gets to decide whether or not ballots are certified and votes are certified, whose vote counts. I think that's like extremely, extremely important, and that's probably one of the main reasons I vote Democratic as well.
So are you concerned about voter fraud? Is that your issue, or?
No, I'm less concerned about voter fraud. I think that majority of claims of voter fraud tend to be trumped up for not great reasons. I don't think voter fraud is as big of an issue as some in politics make it seem. I think there are lots of studies that do look at actual cases of voter fraud, and they always tend to be overblown. It does happen, but not really on a scale that could change anything in any significant way, only in the closest of races, but never in a presidential race has there ever been any identifiable or verified voter fraud that would make a difference. And I don't think it's an issue that we don't need to worry about. I just think the checks we have in place currently are enough. I'm more concerned about voter misinformation and voter disenfranchisement.
Voter misinformation in terms of like who won the election? Like what exactly do you mean by that?
Voter misinformation, I guess just talking about like the validity of the elections, like the electorate and the public being told that elections aren't run fairly, that their votes are being thrown out, that people are harvesting ballots for dead people, or that we have, I forget the name of there's the one documentary, something Mules, about hordes of migrants coming and casting votes. And I think that there's just a lot of doubt unfairly and maliciously and inaccurately, if not just blatantly falsely, thrown on our elections, when I think our elections, though, are run in a patchwork system, which isn't great because they're kind of run by the counties, and all the counties, even in PA, let alone the whole country, do things very differently at times, though all acting under state laws. I think they're run fairly well for the most part, and I think they're run by a lot of really diligent and caring citizens who want nothing more than to make sure every vote is counted. And I think that a lot of election workers are afraid right now, given the way that their job is talked about and our elections are talked about, and I don't think that's great for anyone.
Do you think there should be some sort of voter ID when people go to vote, or what do you think about that process?
I'm actually not a fan of voter ID laws. I think Justice Stevens had written an opinion, or at least signed on to the opinion that upheld voter ID laws. It actually came before the Supreme Court. It was back in like 06 or 07, and then he came to talk about regretting that after he stepped down from the bench. And that case, they actually cited trumped up claims of voter fraud. I think it's something Crawford County, Indiana, I think. But I do think a lot of counties do use something similar anyway, like they verify a person by their address. I think actually here you have to show ID to vote. But I think that voter ID laws harm more than they help in the end. And I think we have enough systems and checks in place that they wouldn't serve too much of a purpose.
So just playing devil's advocate from what people I hear on that side is that, how are you then able to verify if they're a citizen or a person voting? You know, what's that verification process look like then?
I think that there's the verification process that goes on when somebody registers to vote previously, and voter ID laws are dealing with people who have already registered to vote and are then coming to vote. And I think, if anything, it's those people, you know, having their signatures matched, having their addresses matched, things like that. And it's I do think that there's an issue at times. Like I'm not saying it doesn't happen where people don't come to vote or cast votes for people that they're not. There are cases of that happening for people who are deceased and whatnot. I just think there are checks in place and enough clearing of the voter rolls to not need to worry about having voter ID laws to avoid those problems.
So it's fair to say, just based off that system, it's pretty secure in terms of that process, you would say then?
That's my belief, yeah.
Who are you voting for?
Trump.
Why?
Because he did a good job last time he was president. Inflation was lower. We had one of the best economies in the history of the country. Everybody had money. No.
What do you think of the last 4 years of Biden?
I think everything got worse. I mean, a cheesesteak and a order of French fries is $25. You know, the prices are sky high.
What would be your number one policy concern?
Our number one policy concern? To be honest with you, I wish we could go back to when the United States manufactured their own goods.
So bringing jobs back?
Yeah, so the country makes money instead of all the other countries making money off of us. You know?
And then what do you think about Harris? Does she have any good policies? Is there anything about her?
She has no experience, you know? But, I mean, at least Trump was president once already, so, you know. And, he's a little outspoken, but when he was in office, he did a good job. You know, I can't deny it.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
Trump.
2016?
I didn't vote.
And what made you want to vote in 2020 for Trump?
Because we needed a change, you know? I mean, I hope it all works out, you know?